Hello, my fellow creative freelancers and solopreneurs. Welcome to the Tuesday 2 o'clock Teen Talk. I am Ora McKay, the founder of Business of Creativity. And today I want to focus our conversation around how we can plan when we're in the middle of such an incredible climate of uncertainty and of the unknown. Hey, Jamie. Hey, Anna. Thanks for joining me live. Awesome. I love it that you guys are here. It makes such a difference, gang, when you are talking to a real person with these kinds of videos and with these kinds of Facebook Lives. Hey, Victoria, thanks for joining us. This is awesome, you guys. So, ladies, I know for a lot of creative freelancers and solopreneurs out there, like all of us are, we're looking into the future thinking, okay, I know that what I have been doing may or may not work going forward and going into the future. So probably I'm gonna have to change or adjust something in order to be able to be successful moving forward. And when we're looking at our current circumstances, gang, I don't know about you, but many of my clients, when I'm asking them, well, what do you see going forward? The answer is, I don't know. I don't even know where to start. There's so many unknowns. And so, gang, I'm going to give you an opportunity to kind of reframe your experience of planning and also your experience of uncertainty. There's a really great quote that says, in the absence of information, we make things up. And I can't remember who said it, but the idea is that when we don't have the information, when we don't have the answers, what we do as human beings is we guess, we make things up. Now, the unfortunate side effect of doing that is that most of the time we make up the worst case scenario. And that starts to generate a lot of anxiety and fear and overwhelm and all of those kinds of things. So, couple of pieces I want you to take away from that last little bit. One, most of the time your thinking is just a default way of thinking, and once you become aware of it, you can choose differently. Two, when you think about what you do in the absence of information is make things up, it makes total sense that right now what we're gonna do is make things up. Because we don't have the information, we don't have the answers. And gang, making things up is the same thing as guessing. Most plans are guesses. I'm just gonna say it again. Most plans are guesses. No one can really look into the future ever, even in the best case scenario. Even in the before times, we couldn't necessarily predict the future. I bought a ticket to see the Rolling Stones last spring in May. I had plans, we booked the Airbnb, I figured out how we were gonna get all down there, how long we were gonna stay, all of that kind of great stuff. I was going to the show, and this was a bucket list thing. This was something that was hugely important to me. And guess what? I did not go see the Rolling Stones in May because most plans are guesses. That's exactly right, Mark. We don't know for sure whether anything is going to happen in the future or not. Turns out Mick Jagger needed to have heart surgery, and I ended up having to change my plans, adjust my plans, because something completely out of my control happened. Mick Jagger had to have heart surgery. Completely out of my control. So I am now in a similar circumstances. I had plans for March, April, May, and June with my business. And then what happened is that something completely outside of my control happened, and I need to adjust and realign my plans. So when you're looking at, okay, the plans that I've had, they're completely out the window, sure, or maybe not. A plan is a best guess based on what you know right now and what you feel right now. I don't know if the quote about information is Brené Brown. It might have been someone more like, I wanna say Kiyosaki or a Rich Dad, Poor Dad or someone like that. I'm not really sure, Victoria, but if I figure it out, gang, I will put the quote in the comments for you. Essentially, The idea is, though, like if we don't have accurate data or accurate information, we can't get attached to having to have accurate information. So just hang on, I'm just going to see if I can read Mark's comment. So yeah, adjusting and realigning, being interesting to see how you adapt to change. So yes, getting back to the idea of we're all in this place of change. Whatever plan, whatever guess we had for our future, whatever vision and intention that we had for the future may or may not still be valid. This is the thing about a best guess. A best guess, a plan, is something that you do based on who you are now, what you know now, and what you believe might be possible. So many of us are stuck with the part about we don't believe it's possible anymore. So Mark mentioned earlier about having a vision, and how, it kind of feels like you kind of have to let go of your vision, and there's sort of a sense of mourning, like what we thought we were going to be doing in March, April, May, and June isn't what we're doing anymore. But perhaps we don't have to let go of the vision. Maybe we just need to adjust our best guess for how we're going to get there. How can we make a plan in a climate of uncertainty? How can we make a plan? And this is a question I've been asking myself for a really long time. I am a planning and strategy expert. I am a business plan coach, a marketing plan coach. My whole job is about helping people make good guesses for their future. So all of the ways that we would look at making a guess about looking at past data, looking at past sales, looking at what other people and their business models have done to be successful, these things may or may not work for the future. This is not news though, gang. This has always been the case. We never know for sure if we plan on something based on past behavior, whether or not it's going to work in the future. So I invite you to reframe your plan as your intention. Think about it. If you set your intention to go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Wednesday you don't end up going to the gym because something happens, if you go to the gym on Thursday, Friday, so you go Monday, Thursday, Friday, you didn't exactly follow your plan, but you still managed to achieve the intention, which is 3 workouts in a week. There's a possible way for you to set your intentions for the coming quarter, for the coming year, to align yourself with some of the things that really matter, like your vision, that don't necessarily shift or change based on circumstances. So I invite you to stop thinking that a plan has to be some kind of real, huge, big deal, set in stone. You make it once and then that's the thing and you got to follow the plan. And instead, open up your mindset to encourage yourself to think about plans from the perspective of it's my best guess and it's my best intention. So those are my thoughts. I know we still have a bunch of people watching live, so I'd love to get some of your thoughts, gang. Are you struggling with planning? Is there a part of making a guess that is challenging for you? What do you think about the idea of kind of just shifting the framing around planning to have it be about setting an intention? I'd love to hear your comments. I do have another example. So one of my clients today was really struggling with the idea of boundaries on her time and managing her time, valuing her time, prioritizing her time, and the skills that it takes to be able to do that. And for her, she feels like there's just so many variables that she can't use a schedule or a plan to be able to reclaim and own her own time and to set meaningful boundaries for herself. However, when we worked through that and when we had the conversation, we really discovered that yes, there's so many variables, but within multiple variables and the chaos of all of these different things, you can still set your intention and start from a place of clarity about what matters for you. And certainly transforming it into the language of it's your best guess. It's what you hope will happen next week. It's what you're setting your intention for. And life happens around it. So Jamie offers that she likes intention rather than planning. Yep, I hear you. You have a hard time with getting stuck on absolutely doing the plan I set out. Yeah, I find that that's true a lot for people who set goals as well, Jamie, that sometimes we get really attached to the goals or the targets. And if we don't quite get to those goals or targets, then we feel like we failed or something in that range. So reframing how we think about goals as maybe milestones or aspirations and thinking of plans as more like intentions can really help us to change how we feel about it. So thanks for that. Sue offers, in today's world of uncertainty, I feel like plans or future thinking is tossing feathers into the wind. Why bother? Okay. So that's a great point. I see one more there, Mark. Yes, balance of aligning my vision and dreams with my plan for my business. Yes. Okay. So in a world of today's uncertainty where, why bother? That's a great question. And thank you so much for bringing that up because it has been said a lot. And I've been feeling like that as well in terms of, why bother coming up with a solution of 5 things that my clients can do to manage uncertainty because they do it and then nobody even reads it anyways. So why bother? And I think the why bother or feathers into the wind part is that when we are doing our best guess, the process of creating a plan or your best guess or setting an intention is very, very simple and straightforward. The process of setting your best guess and your intention is answering 3 very simple questions. What do you want? Why do you want it? And how are you going to go about getting it? What does that plan look like? Why is that plan important to you? And how are you going to implement that plan and achieve those results? So every time we're making a plan, we're giving ourselves the opportunity to reflect on what is it that we want? What is important to us? And when we look at out the world, we're never going to be able to control or manage or manipulate or, any of those things, all of those outside aspects. We only have dominion over self. And when we're clear about what we want and why we want it and how we're going to get it, it creates ease and clarity and confidence, and it starts to eliminate things like overwhelm and chaos and stress and uncertainty, because overwhelm, chaos, stress, uncertainty, all of those things live in a world of, there's too many unknowns, there's too many variables, there's too much stuff out there. And when we can get really clear on what it is that we want and why that matters to us and how we're going to get it, most of the time, Sue, the what we want and why it matters doesn't really change very much. The thing that's the variable is how we're going to go about getting it. Because how we think it's going to work, how it's going to work is I'm going to go down to Seattle in May and I'm going to stay at the Airbnb and I'm going to go to the concert in May and it's going to be great. That's not how it worked. But what happened? I got to see the Rolling Stones live in concert. Why was that important? It's been on my bucket list forever. So those pieces happened. The intention happened. It just didn't happen how I thought it was going to happen. So most of the time when we think about a plan, the plan is the how part. But the plan for how we do things is always, always based on what do you want and why is it important. So throwing feathers into the wind, it may feel like, why bother thinking about what you want? Why bother getting clear on those kinds of things? The why bother part is for your own sanity, for your own mental wellness, for you to be able to have a sense of direction and clarity and ease in your life. So hopefully that was helpful. Love any comments on that. Jamie's offers yes. Mark is saying that he's missing the mastermind group and our 30, 60, 90-day planners, the support planners, and daily gratitude practice. So I got news for you. Gang, stay tuned. I am creating a sort of momentum mastermind group coaching solution for you guys, and that'll be coming out in the next couple of weeks or so. I'm also creating a support partner success kit so that you guys can create support partnership and accountability. And absolutely, Mark, we're going to talk to each other about how we can leverage some coaching for you until the next Mastermind for Mastery starts up. Daily gratitude. Here's a really great thing about daily gratitude. Combining daily gratitude with the idea of a success journal can help you feel less at a loss or buffeted by uncertainty. So a daily gratitude and success journal is one of the mindset tools that I use in my coaching and in my programs to support creative freelancers in managing a lot of the monkey mind and the imposter syndrome and the shiny object syndrome and all of those things that can distract us. And it's also a really great tool, though, for acknowledging the progress that you make in moving towards a plan. So gratitude for what is, and then acknowledging some of the progress that you've made or the successes that you've had in moving towards some of your milestones and goals. You're very welcome. Absolutely. The process itself is self-empowering, Sue. Anna, it's so refreshing the way that I cleared the chatter. Thank you so much. I absolutely appreciate that feedback, Anna. One of the things that I'm doing during this time of uncertainty and looking at what are my plans and what are my intentions is coming back to that core of what is it that I bring to a marketplace and why do I think that's important to me? And then looking at, okay, so how does that look in serving people moving forward? And that clarity of just simplify it as much as we possibly can, gang. Don't overcomplicate in times of uncertainty. For sure, you want to go into the depth and really get into the nitty-gritty when we have that freedom of space, of continuity in an economy. But really, at this time, that kind of depth and that kind of complexity is probably not going to serve us. So this the acknowledgement in my ability to help clear away the clutter is truly, truly gratefully appreciated, because that is absolutely my intention, is to support you guys in clearing away some of that clutter. I know we have some new people joining us, so the conversation we're in the middle of, and we're just about to wrap up here. If you have anything else to offer, I'd love to see your comments. We're having a conversation about how do you actually plan in this climate of uncertainty, and what we've been talking about is actually reframing what does plan mean. And reframing it in terms of the context of a plan is really just our best guess. And what if we thought of a plan as setting the intention? We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen with our economy. We don't know when things are going to be changing. We don't know how long this virus is going to last. There's a lot of we don't know out there. And in the face of we don't know, it's that we don't know out there, and coming back to, well, what do we know in here? What do we know we want to set as our intention? One of my clients accessed setting intentions. As I was mentioning, she was talking about reclaiming her time. And right now, especially when we don't have our regular schedule or our regular anything, one of the places that you can start practicing the mastery of planning and mastering the practice of planning is by looking at your schedule and your time and starting to see how you can plan. You know, I need some solo time to just breathe and meditate and get connected, or I need some time to really focus on my family and be connected with them. I need some time to focus on work, and really managing what your intention is. Now, of course, there's going to be days that you get up in the morning and you just look at your schedule and think, nope, I'm going to Netflix and chill. I'm out. Great, that's when things change. And as they change, you get to reassess your priority. Or you'll wake up and your kids will take over from you and you think, well, this was my intention for the day and this is how the day is going. So managing your time and setting your intention for your schedule for the day or for the week is a great way of practicing the mastery of planning in the midst of chaos. Janine, so great to hear from you. So I'm so glad you're here. So Janine offers, thank you. I needed to hear that today. Set my intention. You don't need to know the how, you just need the why. Absolutely. Absolutely. When we can connect to that why. So obviously I'm going to have some conversations about how do we reconnect to why? How do we get back into meaning? If you want to check out last week's Tuesday 2 o'clock Teen Talk. I talked a little bit about purpose and meaning and sort of how to get connected to that. And absolutely, I am always here to speak to you one-on-one. You have the opportunity to book a strategy call with me and talk about creating a plan for your creative business together. The strategy calls are free. There's nothing to do to prepare. Just go to the link of strategy-call on Business of Creativity, and we can have a conversation about how I can help you start the process of setting your intention. Victoria, thank you. So validating to hear that I am doing what I should be doing. It's feeling good these days. I think I've reconnected back to my why, and it makes a big difference in terms of the ease of setting a plan. So really great point there is that when we have that clarity about our what and our why, the how part becomes so much easier. And the challenge is most of us are really go immediately for the why. We want to get into action before we lay that foundation of the what and the why. You know, like, how do I market? Well, what are you selling and who are you selling to? Oh, right. What am I selling? Right. So getting back to the what and the why, I think, is really the core message of today's Tuesday 2 o'clock Teen Talk. Thank you all for joining me live. It was really fun to interact with you. I look forward to seeing you next week. And I'm Aura McKay, the founder of Business of Creativity. Have a fantastic week, you guys. Thank you.